I had a strange dream. I'm in a big room and my wife, Charlotte, is dancing with someone I don't know. She bursts out laughing and says, "Why are you looking at me like that, Dev? Do you not like my new hobby?" I try to walk, but my legs feel stuck. Her laugh feels like a tease, and I wake up feeling scared and sweaty. "Charlotte? Are you nearby?" I quietly call out, searching for her. "Yes, I'm here." "What's the matter?" she asks, propping herself up on her elbow. "I had a silly dream. That's why I'm hot. I'm David Parker, and I come from Texas. I am an analyst at a small company, and in my free time, I write short stories. We have a son named Jacob. He is 21 years old, goes to school far away, and doesn't come to see us very often. Charlotte works for a big company and travels around the country often. I am really proud of what she has done, even though I sometimes wish she was here." "Are you really okay?" she asks, looking closely at my face. "Yes, that's correct. It's just my heart beating fast," I said, letting out a sigh. I tell myself it was just a bad dream, but I feel troubled inside. I can still picture the way she looked at me with disdain. "All right, if you need anything, you know how to reach me," Charlotte says and covers her eyes again. I lay there, hearing her calm breathing and trying to understand where these images came from. I've never imagined her smiling at someone else like that before. After that, I relax and go to sleep. I wake up in the morning, and while I make coffee, I notice I'm still feeling the leftover feelings. Charlotte walks out of the bedroom. "Dev, you seem deep in thought. Is that dream troubling you?" "Yes, it's a bit awkward. It happens. Sometimes the mind plays tricks," she said with a shrug. "I'm heading out soon. We have an important meeting. Jacob usually calls on weekends, but that day I called him myself. "Hi, son, how was school?" "Hi, Dad. I'm fine. I have midterms soon. How are you?" "I'm okay. A bit tired." "Did your mom call you?" "She said she had many things to do." "Yeah, same here." After I hung up the phone, I thought about when the family last had dinner together. It was probably a few months ago. I see now that it takes a lot of effort. "That's it, I'm leaving," Charlotte says at the door. "Don't be too sad about the dream. I care about you." "You too," I said, trying to smile. She walks away after saying that, and I try to push the worry from my mind. It felt like life was continuing as normal, just that the bad dream had rattled me a bit. But I had no idea how much this warning dream would link to what was real. Later in the afternoon, while I was at work, bits of the dream kept coming back to me. I felt a bit uneasy, even though I knew it was nothing to worry about. I was always proud of Charlotte for being a homemaker. She enjoyed cooking, keeping things tidy, and surprising Jacob and me with treats. But a few months ago, she suddenly said she was tired of being at home and wanted to do something for herself. So she got a job as a secretary at a big company. I thought, well, that's nice, let her grow. It looks like her boss is a guy named Richard Collins. People said he was a strong leader, but he was kind and looked after his workers. I thought that if he had created a business like this, he had to be a good person at the very least. I didn't think anything bad. Last week, I wanted to bring the family to our favorite restaurant. It had been some time since we had dinner together, and I missed Jacob. My son replied immediately, "Dad, I really want to. I was planning to visit you this weekend." "When and where?" "I believe it's Saturday at 7 p.m. Do you remember that Italian restaurant?" "Sure." "Sounds good. I'll meet you there." I was really happy. We would finally get to spend some time together. Next, I called Charlotte. "Hey, how about we all meet at Phillips's this Saturday? Jacob and I would really like to." "Dev, I want to, but..." She stopped for a bit. "What do you mean?" I asked, feeling that something was off. "I have to go on a work trip, and it's important. Mr. Collins and I have an urgent partner meeting." "I'm sorry." I felt a bit sad, but I kept it to myself. A job is a job. "Will you come back and tell me how it went?" "Sure." "It's really annoying because I wanted to hang out with you. I won't stay too long, but I think this weekend isn't good." "I understand. I'll go with Jacob, and we'll meet up later." She ended the call, and I felt bad. The job is fine. Business can be uncertain, and trips for work come up. But it felt like she didn't really want to talk, almost like she wanted to finish the call fast. But at that moment, I chose not to think about it. How many times has this happened? A surprise call to work, so what? On that Saturday, Jacob and I had a lot of fun. He shared his plans for the future, and I talked about a new short story I was working on. But we missed Charlotte. She was great at starting conversations, able to chat with my son for hours about his schoolwork, his girlfriends, and his future plans. This time, her spot at the table was vacant. When we got home, I noticed her note on the fridge, "Don't forget to feed Red, that's our dog." That was all. No smiley faces or hearts like she usually included. I thought she was just in a rush. I began to have troubling thoughts when Charlotte started to vanish for days without any notice. She would say, "We have a business emergency," and then leave, but since her company was local, I didn't get why she would suddenly be in another state or even another country. It felt strange, but I believed her at first. Perhaps the business is growing? I realize it may seem simple-minded, but I didn't understand the overall situation back then. Also, she began coming home with costly gifts. A new bag, jewelry, all of it not from cheap stores. I asked, "Charlotte, are you really running out of money on these trips?" She answered, "No, they're gifts from my partners. I'm a secretary and I often go with Mr. Collins, who is very generous," she said, trying to seem relaxed. But each time I did, I felt a little jump inside. One night I told Brandon, "My heart is racing." She suddenly leaves, comes back with a lot of expensive jewelry. And then there are the business trips. "Did you ask her what this was about?" Brandon asked, raising an eyebrow. I asked, but she's unclear. Like meetings with investors, big talks. "Do you really think that's true?" I'm making an effort, but I feel unsure. One day, something surprising happened. I wanted to call Charlotte in the evening, but my phone was out of battery. Brandon was beside me and said, "Use mine, it doesn't matter." I'm not making any calls right now. I grabbed his phone and called Charlotte. After some beeps, a man's voice said, "Hello? Hi, I'm looking for Charlotte." "Who are you?" "Me. I'm her boyfriend, and she's busy at the moment," the voice replied calmly. I nearly dropped my phone. I couldn't think of anything. I thought it was a joke or that I had just imagined it. But then Brandon, who was standing close by, looked shocked. "Did you really hear that? Or was it just me?" "No, man, it wasn't a joke. He really meant it when he said, 'I'm her boyfriend.'" I picked up the phone and asked, "Are you sure you're talking about Charlotte Parker?" He ended the call. My insides felt broken. I stood there, not sure if this was a dream or real life. Brandon shook my shoulder. "Hey, Dev, wake up." We both listened to the same thing. I walked around in a fog all night. I called from Brandon's phone, and Charlotte didn't know the number. The person who answered was Richard Collins. I had never heard his voice before, but then I figured it out. Who else would answer her phone and call himself boyfriend? When I realized what was happening after talking to Charlotte's unknown boyfriend, Brandon suggested, "Hey, let's take a look at this Collins guy's Instagram. Let's see if we can find something. Do you want to access the boss's social media?" I asked, even though I felt a mix of curiosity and fear inside me. "So, what should we do now? We can't just walk into his office and ask, 'Hey, are you actually sleeping with Dev's wife?'" We grabbed Brandon's phone, opened Instagram, and quickly found Richard Collins' page. A shiny image, nice suits, costly cars, work meetings. In the stories section, the icon was shining with bright party colors. "So, should we watch?" Brandon inhaled deeply and pushed. My heart tightened. A brief video showed up on the screen. Loud music and the club lights. In the picture, Richard looks happy and is smiling, and beside him, someone is dancing. Charlotte. She cuddles close to him, giggles, and wraps her arms around his neck. She lifts her glass in front of the camera. They share a kiss for a moment. I pulled back. "Oh no. I'll be back soon." Before I could speak, I got sick. I rushed to the bathroom and held onto the toilet, feeling like I was going to throw up. Brandon walked in next and gave me a friendly pat on the back. Dev, take it easy, buddy. You need to think clearly. I'm going to close the door and get some water. I was trembling with both anger and hurt at the same time. I never thought I could actually feel so overwhelmed by my own sadness. When I finally raised my head, I probably looked strange. Brand, I said, hesitating. She always said I was the only person she trusted. It might not be what it seems. But look, she's at a club, not a work meeting. She doesn't seem to be working. I cleaned my hands and splashed cold water on my face. My shoulders were shaking a lot. Why? I spoke softly. Why would she do all of this? We were okay. I don't know, Dev, Brandon sighed. Maybe she wanted the car or the cash or who knows? I stood by the wall, trying to stop the shivers. We were together for a long time. I never thought she could do something like this to me. Look, let's not talk about theories right now. You found out the truth. It's obvious this isn't just a friendly flirt. See how they're hugging? I wanted to toss the phone away and forget everything, but I knew that wouldn't solve anything. I need to understand why she's acting this way. Maybe I overlooked something or didn't notice her. Stop, said Brandon. Don't be hard on yourself. Yes, relationships can be tricky, but she should have told you if something was wrong. Charlotte, I've been playing David for a long time. Do you know what? I really like it. When he is at home without a plan, and I'm with Mr. Collins in Miami or Las Vegas, I feel completely free. What does that mean? Life is brief, and you seek excitement. One day, Richard asked me, "Are you worried your husband might think something is going on? Are you serious?" I laughed out loud. David is too nice and trusting. He will believe any story I share with him. What if he discovers a picture or sees us? He won't. I've considered everything. Also, I have many excuses like important meetings and work trips. Richard and I met before he hired me, and no one knows about it. I ran into him by accident in a bar while I was having a tough time with David. He got me a cocktail, we began talking, and I was drawn in by how he carried himself and his self-assurance. He quickly said, "It would be nice if you came to me as my assistant. It would give us something to do, and we would enjoy ourselves." I agreed because I needed a reason. My marriage to David was becoming a bit boring. He's friendly, he's caring, but he's dull. He only wants his job as an analyst and to write his short stories. I enjoy taking risks and feeling the rush of adrenaline. So, Mr. Collins, I sometimes ask playfully, what's our work trip today? I think we will fly to Los Angeles and get a room with a view of the ocean. We're going to do a quick ID check, he says with a smile. And we laugh at how simple it is to trick everyone. Every trip is a wild night, full of new experiences and surprises. I return home with fancy handbags and jewelry. David is surprised, but he just asks, "Oh, another thank you from the partners?" And I lie, without blinking. Yeah, I guess they like my work. Some might call me a bad wife, but honestly, I take it as a compliment. It's a skill to balance a husband who admires you and knows nothing with a lover who inspires you. Sometimes I wonder if David has an idea, but maybe he's too weak to act on it or just really believes in the idea of a good wife. Will you ever tell your husband the truth? Richard asks. Why? He'll never find out. I'm ready to tell him fake stories forever. What if he suddenly takes action? Are you serious? He can't make hard choices. That's the issue. Plus, my son has been away for a long time, and he doesn't seem to care. This is how we go about our days. Whenever I step outside, I feel a chill inside, wondering what will happen next. And David, he's at home waiting for me with dinner, thinking his wife will always be loyal. Let him think that. It works for me. I promised myself I would get back at her. Not just any payback, but one that would make her feel sorry for what she did. I might not have all the details of my plan yet, but I'm set on discovering when and where Charlotte is meeting her boss so I can act. To pull this off, I need to pretend to be naive until the moment is right. In the evening, Brandon and I sit at the bar like we always do. I'm on my third glass of whiskey, and I can feel my head starting to spin. Brandon looks at me closely. Dev, stay focused. You have work tomorrow. I don't care, I said, having another sip. You know what she does? She enjoys having a good time with him on these business trips, while I'm at home feeling foolish. He hands me the napkins I've already written on. What type of circuits do you have inside? I want to put a listening device on her phone. There's a smart program my IT. A guy can help me with this. I will find out when and where they're going. Then, what happens next? Brandon looks at me with a bit of worry. Then I'll find a way to make her regret it. Not only in words, but for all her days. I see that I'm not familiar with this kind of anger. I was once a peaceful and nice person, but now I feel a strong sense of unfairness. As I finish my whiskey, I say softly, and she believes I won't notice anything. Perhaps he doesn't realize it. You're acting pretty much normal, right? I guess I have to keep doing this. I sighed. I'll go home, act like I'm happy she's back from her trip. I'll hide my feelings, cover my anger with a smile. But deep down, I'll know the truth. Brandon agrees with a nod. Listen, don't make any rash decisions. I understand you're upset, but situations like this can turn out poorly. I'm not going to cause a big fuss. I want a quieter way to get back at her. Something that will really affect her. How do you think you will do that? First, we need to catch them together, I explained. Because she believes I'm weak, she won't be very careful. Once I know their plans, I'll surprise them or something. We talk about the details for a bit more, and then I ask the bartender for some water to help me feel better. I feel a mix of excitement and sadness inside me, but I try to stay calm. Okay, I say, standing up from behind the counter. Thanks for hearing me out, Brandon. Look after yourself, he said with a sigh. If you need anything, just call me. I will do it. I'm not sure how far this can go. That's it, we settle the bill and go. Tomorrow Charlotte comes back from another business trip. I'll need to act like a caring husband again. But inside, I'm getting ready for my tough and nice revenge. I just need to wait for the right time. I woke up with a really bad headache. I could feel the hangover, so the first thing I did was drink a glass of water and take a painkiller. My head hurt, but I knew I had to look alert today. Charlotte was coming back from her trip, and I needed to keep up the loving husband role. By lunchtime, I felt a bit better. I brewed coffee, put on a fresh shirt, and headed to the store for some flowers. At the checkout, the saleswoman looked at me with interest. A celebration of some sort? That could be true. My wife is returning from a trip. Well, let her enjoy the bouquet, she smiled. Thanks, I hope he likes it, I said, trying to hide my irritation. When Charlotte arrived at the house, I was waiting for her at the door with a bunch of flowers. She stepped out of the cab in her work clothes, but she seemed calm. Oh, flowers, nice, she said, grabbing the bouquet. This is for you, my traveler. I acted like I was glad to see her. Thanks, David, she said flatly. You don't seem well. I didn't sleep well, and I had a lot to do, but the main thing is that you're back. We entered the house. While she took out her things, I went to the living room and waited for her phone to be on the table. Charlotte had gone to the bathroom, and I quickly took out mine to set up the program. My hands were shaking, and I felt a rush of excitement. Dev, have you seen my phone? She shouted from the hallway. Oh, it's right here on the nightstand. It's fine, I called out as I finished getting it ready. I tried to keep a blank face and gave her the machine. Hey, how about we go to a restaurant on Friday? I said. Jacob might want to join us, trying to sound cheerful. Friday? She complained, scrolling through her phone. Ugh, I think it's another work trip. It's meant to last 3 days, but maybe I can come back sooner. Seriously? Another one? Sorry, it's busy, she said with a shrug and added more calmly. We could try again next week if things get better. I was really upset. It was obvious this was just another reason to hang out with Collins, but I put on a sad face and said yes. All right, work is just work. I'm going to make some food. You must be really hungry. Sure, I could go for a light dinner. At dinner, we said a few polite things. I acted like I cared about her trip, and she replied without much enthusiasm. After that, we went our separate ways. She focused on her laptop while I watched TV. Honestly, it was hard to look at her, but I had to keep up the act. When it was time for bed, we lay down next to each other like we had many years ago. But there was no closeness. She turned away, showing, "I'm tired. I want to sleep." I didn't push it. I lay on my side of the bed, looking at the ceiling. My annoyance was growing, but I knew I had to stay calm for my plan. Tomorrow, I would look at the wiretap data and see when she was leaving for her trip. Soon, she'd have to face the consequences. "Good night," she said without looking back. "Good night," I said through clenched teeth, knowing that neither of us would really sleep well tonight. I waited a whole week until I had enough wiretaps. Honestly, I felt sick listening to their talks as they shared giggles and talked about their business trips. But one conversation really shocked me. "Charlotte, see, he's always doubtful. We should just put him to sleep for the night." "Richard, how so?" "Charlotte, I'll add sleeping pills to his water or tea like I always do. He falls asleep, and we can have a party right here at my place. I want to try something a bit extreme too. Richard, I admire your boldness. How about Saturday? I'll just be in the area." "Charlotte, sure, Saturday works. He's often at home and doesn't mind." When I heard those words, I felt a rush of anger. All this time, she hadn't just been cheating. She had been putting something in my drinks so I wouldn't notice anything? And now, they wanted to have a big party in my own house? I called Brandon to chat with him. "Hey, you won't believe what the woman is doing." "Brandon, what more is there?" "She's having a party at my house with her boyfriend while I'm asleep from the pills." "Brandon, are you serious? This is too much." "That's the point, no. I listened to it all. It will take place on Saturday." "Brandon, what will you do?" "I have a plan, but I won't share the details right now. The less you know, the easier it is." All week I walked around with a forced smile. Charlotte was extra caring, asking me how I was doing and what I wanted for dinner. She was clearly getting ready for her party. On Friday night, she walked up to me out of the blue. "Charlotte, what if we get some food tomorrow and watch a movie?" "I can't wait for a calm evening." "Okay, sweetie. Anything you say." "Charlotte, you get me so well, I'm really lucky." I saw her line clearly, and I was really angry inside. But on the outside, I acted like I was having a good time with her. I wanted her to have no doubts about my innocence. It was Saturday. I was getting ready to play along and drink this suspicious tea or water and act like everything was going as planned. But I had already changed all the sleeping pills at home for regular powdered sugar. "Charlotte, is it okay if I make you some tea? You seem tired." No, it's really my pleasure." "Thanks, dear." She smiled back, clearly happy that her plan was working. I smiled too, knowing that no sleeping pills were involved. I had swapped some in the closet earlier. "Let's get this started. When the party begins, I'll have everything set up." She doesn't know yet that this holiday will become a nightmare for her and her boyfriend. I emptied the cup with the same sleeping pills, but first I changed what was inside. I acted like I was in sharp pain. Whispering, "Charlotte, there's something I'm not doing. I'm going up to rest." "Charlotte, okay, go ahead, dear. Take a break. I'll tidy up the place myself." I went up the stairs, trying to stay calm, and lay on the bed. I shut my eyes and took deep breaths, pretending I was asleep. After about 15 minutes, I heard the front door open. There were loud voices. Male voice number 1. "Ha, Charlotte, you're really on a roll today. Can't wait to begin." Charlotte, laughing, "Sure, I said my husband would sleep well. We have the house to ourselves, so you can be loud." Male voice number 2. "What a great service. I didn't think I could have a party right here." Richard, I knew it was him by his sharp voice, and why not? "It's pretty comfortable here. What type of mattress do you have, dear?" Everyone is laughing. I lay there with my hands tight. trying not to let my anger come out. Then someone asks a question that really gets me angry. Male voice number 3. Hey, where's your weak husband? Did he faint already? Charlotte smiling. Oh yes, just in a few minutes. He only needs 2 drops, and that's all. Male voice number 1. Well, he's a fool, of course. The entire group laughed out loud. I felt so angry that it seemed like my heart would explode from my chest. But I stayed there, acting like I had no feelings, while my mind was busy thinking. 3 odd men in my house. And then there's this Richard guy. I wonder what they're planning next. Will they play loud music? Will they bring in drinks? Are they going to have fun and make fun of me when I'm not looking? Charlotte seemed happy, judging by the giggles. Charlotte. Take it easy, everyone. I have champagne and something stronger. Nobody will disturb us here. Richard. Let's celebrate our successful trip. It's too bad David can't be with us. Charlotte. Haha, believe me, he's not the type of person we want at our party. He should be in bed, that's it. I heard everything you said. I heard them walk up the stairs, then come back down, seeming to search the house. The fridge opens, and you hear glasses clink. It seemed like they chose to begin the meal immediately. Male voice number 2? All right, let's go for it. Let the weak one keep sleeping, and we'll enjoy ourselves. Charlotte, with a sneer, sure he is. He probably won't wake up until morning. Everyone laughed once more. I lay there, clenching my teeth, but I knew it was too early to reveal myself. Let them believe I was gone. Let them have their victory. We'll see how you all laugh in an hour when my plan starts working. I was in the bedroom, hearing the sounds from downstairs and counting the minutes. I figured that in an hour they would all be on their feet. I already knew what kind of cocktail they liked to make with Sprite. Because of the wiretaps, I saw it was what they were good at. I added sleeping pills to it and closed the bottles carefully. Now we just had to wait for them to begin drinking. Me thinking, all right, let's find out how you feel about your grip on me. The minutes went by, and the voices below got louder, with Charlotte's laughter echoing in my ears. Then there was a short break, the sound of bottles opening and drinks being poured into glasses. Male voice number 1. Hey baby, don't hold back on the ice. Charlotte, here you go. Sprite with our favorite syrup. Where's Richard? Richard, I'm here. I knew you wouldn't start without me. Let's celebrate our party. Right away, people talked less. I noticed that the sleeping pills were working because there was a strong dose in their glasses. After around 30 minutes, I saw that the music had stopped and the laughter was gone. The house was very quiet. Me? Quietly to myself, it's time. I got out of bed, walked to the stairs, and carefully went downstairs. There were people on the floor in the living room, as if they had passed out. One was lying on the floor with a bottle in his hand, and another was asleep in a chair. 2 more people, including Richard, are on the couch. Charlotte, my beloved wife, was lying on the carpet with a pillow under her head. Me, looking at them with disdain. So you wanted to have fun in my house? Well, you'll be here longer than you thought. Sure, I wasn't going to just leave them out in the open. The plan had been in the works for a long time. I went to the pantry and took out the plastic clamps and ropes I had ready earlier. I began tying up the guests one at a time, being careful not to wake anyone. The sleeping pills were so strong that they didn't even stir. Me? Breathing hard, not bad company. I can't tell which one of you will get more. When I flipped Richard over, he opened his eyes a bit, but then quickly fell back asleep. Charlotte was mumbling something unclear, seeming to have nice dreams about how she had defeated her weak husband. Before long, they were all tied up. Me, turning softly to my wife, lying down. Now let's head to the basement. Don't worry, there's plenty of space for all of us. I pulled them down the stairs, one at a time, even though it was hard. I have a big basement, so I can put them in there easily. Me, whispering, stretching out the words, don't worry, friends. The fun is just starting. You want to spend the evening at my house? That's okay. We'll find a way to keep you entertained. I hope you have a good time. When I shut the heavy door, it felt like a big weight had been lifted off my shoulders. I knew I had gone too far, but I couldn't find a way to return. Today was the day when everything needed to change for good. I go to the basement and see this company tied up and lying on the floor. They are still unconscious, so I grab a bucket of ice water and begin pouring it on them one by one. They slowly start to feel better, coughing and swearing along the way. Richard stuttering, "Where am I? What the?" Male voice number 1, "Hey, what's up?" "Who's that?" Charlotte looking around scared. "Oh no, Richard, are you here?" "Me." "Don't worry, Richard is here. We're all together." I'm standing in front of them, holding a fake gun that looks very real. I can see in their eyes that they think it's real. I see Charlotte trying to speak, but she can't find the right words. Charlotte, angrily, "David, what were you thinking? Why did you tie us up?" Richard, struggling, "Let me go now." "You won't." "Me?" "Be quiet, Collins." "And you, Charlotte, do you want to know why we're here?" Everyone goes quiet, and then one of Richard's friends speaks up. Guy voice number 2, "Hey, just let us go, we won't say a word." Me, with a sly smile, "Oh, you won't share?" "Of course not. You'll be busy, trust me." Charlotte tries to get up quickly, but the ropes stop her. Her face shows a mix of fear and confusion. "Charlotte, you can't do that. It's nuts. Why would you do that?" Me, "Why?" "Because you all thought you could trick me. And you, sweetie, you thought I wouldn't see?" I take out my phone and play one of the recordings. There's smooth talks, soft whispers, laughter. Then I play the video, Charlotte and Richard in a hotel room where they are having fun. "Richard, did you film us?" Me, "Oh yeah, I recorded everything. I was aware of your business trips. How you and your guys wanted to chill at my place while I was supposedly out cold on sleeping pills. You should understand how grossed out I felt hearing you talk about it." Charlotte looked at me, tears starting to form in her eyes, either from anger or fear. Charlotte, "David, it's not like that." Me, interrupting her, "Really? What am I thinking? Are you saying that's not what it seems here? Look at the screen, have fun with it." She looks away. Richard shakes hard, but the clamps don't let him escape. The other men struggle, knowing there is no escape. Male voice number 3, "Please, just let me go. I'm only a friend of Richard's, I didn't do anything." Me, "It's all nothing here, right? You all thought it was fun to trick this silly husband? Well, the silly husband turned out to be not so simple." I glance at them, focusing on Charlotte. She's trembling with fear, knowing she's lost control. Me, "Are you ready for the party to keep going?" I'm not finished yet. I looked at the tied-up group in the basement and felt my heart race. Charlotte suddenly started crying and spoke with a trembling voice. Charlotte, crying, "David, I'm sorry. I've understood everything. Please, let's fix this calmly. I don't want it to get worse." Me, "Oh, you don't want to? Didn't you ever think about how far things could go when you gave me sleeping pills and brought those people into my house?" She bit her lip, and it was clear she was scared. Richard looked at me sadly. "Richard, we messed up. But let's fix it. We'll leave, and you won't have to deal with us anymore." Me, looking firmly just like that? Like, "Sorry man, we're leaving." No, it doesn't go that way. I lifted my gun like I was going to shoot. I noticed the expression in their eyes. Yeah, it's just a fake gun, but it looks really real. Male voice number 1 worried, "Please, don't do this. We can work something out. Just tell me what you want." Me, smirking, "You broke into someone else's house, so I can protect myself. By law, I can shoot anyone without warning, but I'll give you a choice." Male voice number 2, "What's the choice?" I pulled out my phone and showed them the QR code for the wallet where the cryptocurrency could be sent. Each amount was $1 million. I knew that Richard and his business partners had big money problems. Me, "You all earn a lot, right? Well, you'll pay for your rude attack on my home. If you want to leave here safely, send it over." Richard, excited, "A million? Are you crazy?" Me, "No, you all were the ones who decided to have a party at my house while I'm out of it. Let's go move it. Charlotte stared at me, her face filled with sadness, tears running down her face. Charlotte, David, please? I didn't expect it to turn out like this. Can we try a different approach? Me? In a cold voice, it's too late now. You messed everything up. Now you have to face the results. One by one, I untied their hands, but kept their legs tied. They were all playing with their phones, trying to get into the cryptocurrency wallet. Their fingers were shaking with fear. Every now and then, they glanced at my gun, as if they were worried I might shoot it at any moment. Richard, transferring, okay, now got it. Did the alert come through? Me? I see it. Everyone else keep going. Hurry up. Maleves cancelletto uno. Del. Doing. Everything, I believe I sent it. Male voice number 2. Wow, what's this all about? Sent. Me? Good job. And now you, Charlotte. She shook as she made the transfer, not able to meet my gaze. The app quickly confirmed all the transactions. I looked at the balance. The amount was great. Me? Looking at them with disdain. So, I see you all trembling with fear. It's quite a sight, isn't it? Richard. Please let us go. We'll do whatever you want. Me? We'll see. I might let you go, but not right away. I haven't fully figured out what to do yet. I lifted the gun again, and they trembled. Now they saw that they had put themselves in a tough spot, and that my plans were still not finished. I glanced at the scared group in the basement and knew it was time to end things for them in a moral way. I had the money with me, but does that really matter when your world is falling apart? I lifted the gun and said calmly, Me? Everyone bring your cell phones here. Now, Richard, sadly, why do you want our phones? Me? Smirking, just trust me. Hand it over, no questions. They gave me their smartphones, one at a time. Some of them were so unsteady that their phones nearly dropped to the ground. I left them with their legs tied but their hands free so they could enter their passwords. Me? Open it. And no funny stuff. Male voice number 1. Listen, we've done all we can. We've sent the money to you. Now this. Me? Be quiet. Just do it. As soon as all the screens were open, I jumped right in. First, I looked through the contacts of each of these catchers and found their wives, girlfriends, or anyone listed as my love or something similar. They began sending out videos of their fun times with Charlotte. Male voice number 2, scared, no. You're going to mess everything up. I have kids, a house payment. Me, through clenched teeth, wasn't I meant to lose my family? Do you think you're the only one who has rights? Richard, this is a bad dream. Let me go. I'll give you more money. Me. The money has been sent to me. Now I want your family to know who they are living with. While I was sending the video, I heard Charlotte's sad cry. Charlotte, David, please leave my parents alone. They are old. It could hurt them. Me. The old ones? And my father, who I couldn't even explain what was happening in my family because it felt embarrassing. Did you not think about that? Charlotte, please don't go through with this. It's not their fault that Me? Cutting her off, not your fault. Did I do something wrong because you brought unfamiliar men into my home? No. Why can they damage my marriage, but I can't do anything about it? I took Charlotte's phone, looked at the contacts, and saw Mom and Dad. There were 2 numbers, one for her mom and one for her dad. I sent some files to both so they could see their daughter's accomplishments clearly. Charlotte cried. Charlotte, why? What type of monster are you? Me, monster? Did it hurt when you made me look foolish? When you gave me sleeping pills without my knowledge? Simply accept what happens next. The other men began asking me not to harm their families. But I kept doing my job. I shared the needed materials and printed notes explaining how they were business partners, going to hotels and celebrating successes. Male voice number 3, crying, please, David. I'll do anything, just please don't mess up my life. Me, with a forced laugh. Yeah, you messed up your life when you chose to stand in my way. After I gave everyone the materials they needed, I looked at them and felt a sense of relief. I left the scissors on the basement floor so they could get free when they woke up. My head was spinning from what happened, but I knew I had no reason to stay in this house. With the money I got, I took a flight that night and moved far away to a different country. I wanted to begin a new life where no one knew my past or saw me as a man who had been hurt by his wife. On the plane, I sat by the window, trying to understand my feelings. The money was there now, but it didn't make me happy. I thought about how things used to be when we were a family. I remembered Jacob, our son. He was the one person I didn't want to lose touch with. Now we video chat almost every day. Son on the phone, Dad, are you all set up now? Is it warm there? Me? It's warm, yes. But you see, it's not simple. New language, new culture. Son, stay strong. The important thing is that you are alive and healthy, and you have a lot to look forward to. Me sighing, I know. Thanks for being there for me. How's college going for you? Son, it's fine. I'm working on studying more. You remember I wanted to go to grad school, right? We chatted like that for nearly an hour. Every time I looked at his face, I understood that all my actions were for what was right. Some may see me as harsh, but I was worn out from being hurt. In my new apartment, I was using suitcases for now. I nearly didn't get any furniture because I just didn't have the energy for it. The pain from the betrayal still ate away at me inside. That night, when I was by myself, I looked at the ceiling for a long time, and the images from the basement, the scared faces of Charlotte and her friends, appeared in my mind. But I didn't feel sorry for them. Me, talking quietly to myself, maybe I went too far, but there was no other choice. They crossed the line. The voice in my head asks, could I have done something different? I'm not sure. I called Jacob's number again. Me, son, do you think I can stay there for a long time? Son, sure. You're a strong guy, and if you feel better there, I'm happy for you. Me, laughing sadly, at least someone believes in me. That's how my old life ended, in the basement of my own home, while I heard other people laughing. My new life started when I chose to value myself and stop trying to please everyone. Money was just a tool, and the real pain came from the inner wounds. But I think they will get better with time. Now I have a chance to begin anew,